Hello, friends. Welcome back to Soul GPS Tarot. Today's pick a card reading has three piles, three groups. You can choose the Tiger group and the Good Tarot, or the Panther group and the Tarot of Mystical Moments, or you can choose the Earthworm group and the Universal Celtic Tarot. And then underneath each of those cards, we have one fortune cookie card for each pile. And I'll reveal those after you select your groups. So take a moment, tune into yourself, see which of these groups feels like it's drawing you the most. If there's more than one, then watch however many of them are appealing to you. And I will meet you in your readings. You can just go to the timestamp in the description. I'll see you there. Hi, group number one. If you chose the Tiger and the Good Tarot, then this is your reading. You can see the Tiger has this crescent moon on her forehead. And this card is really about fearlessness, listening to your intuition, kind of going into the moon energy in the positive aspect, meaning you, in the darkness and silence of a crescent moon, is where your most important intuitions and insights come from. So this is really asking you to tune in, to tap into your feminine energy, your receptive, creative energy. So we're going to begin there. And we'll take your fortune cookie oracle, and this is wisdom. To focus on the past is to lose the future. Heed advice from an older person, which will allow you to move on. So we'll see how that fits in as we get into the tarot cards. We'll put it right there. I'm going to take a moment to give these cards a really good shuffle. And then I will come right back and shuffle them on camera a little bit, and we'll go ahead and draw your tarot cards. Okay, group number one, your cards have had a good shuffle. And I'm going to give them another quick shuffle here. That's not the direction I want to be going. I want to be going this way. Okay. Give them another quick shuffle here on camera. And we will go ahead and allow the cards to make themselves known, which ones want to come out. And we'll start your reading in earnest. That feels like 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. And then we're going to come back in. And give them another opportunity. That's 4. Go back in. Feels like 5. And 6. Okay. All right, group number 1. Let's see what we have got. Card number 1, we have the 4 of Earth, or 4 of Pentacles. Card number 2, King of Water, King of Cups. Card 3, the 9 of Fire, or 9 of Wands. We have the Hanged Man. Card number 5, we have the 10 of Fire, or the 10 of Wands. And finally, card number 6, we have the 3 of Air, or the 3 of Swords. Okay, So, group number one, I'm just going to talk through the cards separately. And as I'm doing that, the picture of how the reading hangs together will become clear to me. The intuition begins to kick in, and I can see the whole thing, and then I can explain it to you. So, the Four of Earth or Four of Pentacles is a card of kind of like protecting what you have. Um, sitting on these four pentacles and saying, I don't want to let go of these four pentacles because I might lose everything. When in reality, if you put down the four pentacles, you are likely to find that there are unlimited pentacles available to you. But if you think you have to hold on to the prize that you have because there won't be something else, that's where you get yourself into that lack mindset and an inability to um, grow into your full life's purpose and your inheritance, for lack of a better term. Now, the King of Water or King of Cups is, um, you know, a leader that is totally empathetic, totally supportive, tolerant, loving, etc. And oftentimes in a reading, when we pull court cards like this, like the King of Water, could actually represent a real person in your life, an older, a man over 30 at least, who has these qualities, is very loving, very supportive, and able to show that, able to show their love. The Nine of Fire or Nine of Wands is again about keeping boundaries. So, in some ways, similar to the Four of Pentacles or Four of Earth, this figure is kind of in a cave here, and she's got her beautifully lit stars, but she's hidden away from the world, and she's keeping herself protected. Yeah, there's a like a reluctance to share this light out into the world. The Hanged Man is giving the counsel of taking a time out on purpose, because in the in the space between choices, we can gain a new perspective, new wisdom. And then we'll come over to the 10 of Fire, which corresponds to the 10 of Wands, which is about, you see how she's juggling these burning messages? It's, she's tired. She's literally burned out. Um, the 10 of Fire, 10 of Wands is um, you've been working so hard that you're thinking, I don't know how much longer I can do this. But the good news on the 10 of Wands or 10 of Fire is that you're nearly there. It's almost time to stop juggling the burning papers. Um, you've worked so hard that earned uh, you've earned a rest, actually, and you've earned what you've worked for. So let's come to finally the Three of Air or Three of Swords. Three of Swords is a rough one. It's sometimes depicted by a heart with three swords going through it. So it's about heartbreak. Um, yep, it's starting to come together. Usually by the time I get to the last card, it begins to coalesce. It feels to me Well, here's something interesting. So the wisdom card that we pulled at the beginning is saying to focus on the past is to lose the future. Boom, Four of Earth, same message. Heed advice from an older person. Boom, King of Water, which will allow you to move on. Boom, from heartbreak. Um, so it sounds to me like you have perhaps experienced a relationship where you were or have been or maybe are still juggling, you know, all the burning papers. Where you may be at a point of saying, I have no clue where to go from here. I don't know how, what more can I do? And I don't know whether to stay or go. And if you've already made a decision, for example, to go, you may still be in this energy of heartbreak because we try so hard to make relationships work, and when somebody else isn't meeting us where we are and reciprocating and putting in the same energy, it's it's heartbreaking. There's no two ways about it. But what's interesting is that we can tend to hold on to it because we're afraid that on the other side there's nothing. And frankly, nothing could be further from the truth. So there's there's somebody else in your sphere who has this loving, kind, masculine energy. It doesn't have to be a man. Masculine, feminine is something we all have, but it's this caring, protective, loving, leading kind of energy um, that says, I I want to heal your heart with you. I want to help you. I care for you. And anytime we go through this period of heartbreak, there's then a period where we hide our light under a bushel. It's like, you know, I've been burned. I shared my light with another person. I I juggled. I tried to do everything to make this work, to make that person feel loved and cared for and understood and seen. And now I realize I was so busy doing all that, pedaling so fast, that I didn't notice that they weren't doing that for me. And in a way, I felt like we were in love because I was doing all the work of in love. And so, I built the illusion that we were both there. Um, but they weren't doing even half of their share. And that hurts. That hurts to find out that you've been working so hard and somebody else just wasn't. And so you feel self-protective, you know. You you take some time out to try to get your head straight, to say, how did I miss that? How did I not see that I was protecting just four pentacles? I was just protecting four when I should have had this abundance of pentacles coming to me. And you should. I mean, this King of Wands, King of Water, or King of Cups, has the kind of unconditional love for you that you want to be looking for in a partner. This could be an older brother, it could be a father, it could be a friend, it could be a woman who has these qualities, or somebody who doesn't claim one gender, but they have this beautiful, protective, kind, and loving energy. It's going to be different for each of you. I don't know that this is the next romantic person in your life. I feel like this is somebody who's here with you to help you heal, to help you begin to recognize your light. And, this is a period of time where you go inside. You trust this period of darkness, this period of upside downness. And you understand that when you let go and you say, okay, let's see, let's see what the universe has for me next. But for now, I'm going inside, I'm listening to myself and what it is I really, really desire in my life. What would a relationship that is fully, fully reciprocal feel like and look like? How would that person behave toward me? How would I know that they were in and that they were ready to put in the kind of energy that I put in? Now, there's a bit of a trick in here because if you grew up learning how to people please in order to stay emotionally safe, which a lot of us did, um, you have the tendency to jump in with your whole heart and start working hard and just start, lavishing affection and attention and acts of service and all kinds of things on the person you have feelings for. And very often that sets up the dynamic where you're the one who's going to put in all the work, you're the one who wants it the most. And that person can feel like, well, I don't have to put in any effort because clearly this person is going to take that job and do everything. And then I might feel like, you know, I don't even I don't even need to be here. That doesn't make it your fault that this thing happened in your life. It just means that these dynamics are very, very common. And when we are in this kind of energy, we tend to draw to us people who are in an energy of letting you do all the work. So how do you get out of that? How do you change that whole dynamic in your life? Well, part of how you do that is to heal, to allow love in from people who aren't trying to get anything from you and who truly have your best interest at heart. Just no matter where that's coming from in your life, a friend, a brother, a dad, an uncle, a sister, a mom, an aunt, whatever. This energy reminds you that love is available to you, not just available, but trying to pour in to your wounded soul. And if you can open up just a little bit and let some of that in, let some of that light in, you're going to begin to heal your system. You're taking a time out, you're learning about yourself. You're going deep inside. You're listening to somebody who has wisdom. And somebody who has wisdom, it might even not be outside of you. It could be your own higher self, which has total unconditional love for you. And if you can start to tap in to this conduit of love that's already at your core, you can begin to understand and realize that you just don't have to work so hard. You don't deserve to have to work so hard. You are beautiful and wonderful exactly the way you are. You don't have to change a single thing to be lovable. And a person who can really see you eventually, when you're able to stop working so hard and when you're able to see yourself through this person's eyes, you're going to come out of this heartbroken energy And you're going to begin to embody this King of Water energy yourself. You're going to come out of this cave and share this light and trust that you can open up to new relationships because you've already made yourself safe and loved within. But there are parts of you that are very afraid to let go because they're afraid there's no love. There is. There is. You are loved. Not just loved, but cherished. Every hair on your head is cherished. So it feels scary. It really feels scary to let go. But I'm telling you that the prize that's waiting for you when you let go of those measly 4 pentacles is everything. It's just everything. And it starts inside of you. It doesn't mean that you stay alone. It means that you start out by partnering yourself, by making sure that your nervous system understands that there is a loving energy that is with you all the time, is never going to leave you ever, and understands you to be the most magnificent creature ever conceived. So, put that in your pipe. Okay, group number 1. I think most of us have been here. And I I really feel for what you've been through. And I can tell you that on the other side of this, as long as you take the time to heal and take the time to grow your trust in yourself, you're going to come out the other side feeling stronger and just loved. You're going to feel truly loved. And I'm excited for that. I'm just going to take a few more. I'm going to shuffle the other deck of oracle cards real quick and get a final message for you from the little guide deck. We'll just give it a nice shuffle and see what wants to pop out to kind of wrap up your reading. Let's see. I see him. Come here. Okay, what do we have? Time. Yep. Yeah, pile or group number 1. That's what it takes. And not just time, but truly understanding that this period of time when things feel upside down is a time that you are regaining yourself. If you lean toward someone else to be your support, you come off your feet. And when that person steps away, you fall flat. So the trick is to learn how to stand here in your own light and feel the love that is flowing from top to bottom and bottom to top, from the earth up to heaven and from heaven down to earth and down to the core of the earth. You are strung perfectly on a string of belovedness. And then when someone else comes along, they'll recognize that. And when they recognize that, you'll recognize that they are a person who also knows how to stand up straight in their own light. And when the two of you come together, it's this choice to stand together, to be together, because you're both standing on your feet, you're both standing lined up with heaven, if you will. And when you're both that strong and somebody, maybe gets sick and feels a bit weak and feels a bit unbalanced, this person comes along and says, I've got you. And same way here, I've got you. because I have the strength to help you when you falter. But we start like this. I hope that makes sense. I hope my hand puppet theater has been helpful to you here. Group number one, thank you so much for being here. And take a second, if you would, and just hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And I really would love it if you left a comment so much. I'd love to meet you. I want to start to meet my tribe, the people who show up and get something out of these readings. I'd love to hear from you. So, group number one, I will see you very soon, I hope, and I am wishing you the absolute best. Take care. Bye. Hi, group number two. This is your reading if you chose the Panther and the Tarot of Mystical Moments. The Panther um, reminds me a bit of the Tower card in Tarot. It speaks to um, things which are built on a foundation that is not solid, falling apart, so that a new thing can be built on a firmer foundation. So oftentimes we experience it as being kind of this disaster, but then in retrospect, we think, oh my gosh, thank goodness that happened. So the lesson there is to kind of take things with as much equanimity as you can, meaning you want to stay as neutral as you can. Try not to prejudge whether something is terrible or wonderful, but simply say to yourself, okay, that happened. Let's see what happens next. I know that it sounds like really hard to do when something happens that seems clearly terrible. Okay. But this allows you to stay hooked in to your conscious mind where you can make rational decisions. When you fall into a panic over something that's just happened, you are thrown into a state of fight or flight. This puts you so deep into your subconscious mind that you basically can't think. You're just reacting in a way to protect yourself. And that can have unintended consequences sometimes. We all do it pretty much all the time nowadays. The world is kind of um, let's say, emotionally activating very frequently right now. And so most of us live in a state of fight or flight much of the time. But if we can become conscious of taking an attitude of, well, let's just see, that is probably going to allow you to move through things that may be difficult in a much smoother way and to make decisions that will hold up in the long term. Okay, so group number two, we'll put the Panther right here, and we have a fortune cookie oracle card. Let's see what you have. You have Society. Say yes to all the wonderful invitations coming your way. Excellent networking opportunities and new love interests for singles will be the result. Somebody got this just a couple days ago. And it might have been you. So that's a double confirmation that that's something you need to do. Oops, stay. So this is your deck, the Tarot of Mystical Moments. I have shuffled it very thoroughly prior to your reading, but I'm going to retake them out of the box and shuffle them some more and come back and shuffle them a little bit on camera, and then we will start your reading in earnest. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, group number two, we are back with a very shuffled deck of cards, and we're going to shuffle a little bit more and select your cards. Actually, your cards will select you. He almost, yeah. Okay, who are you? Right here. That's One. They're jumpy. Okay. It's this one. 2. 3. And that feels like 4. Off you go. 5. Come on. And this is going to be number 6. Okay. Okay. Group number 2. See what we have got. Card number 1, you have the Ace of Swords. Nice. Card number 2, you have the 7 of Wands. Card number 3, you have Strength. Number 4, you have the 2 of Pentacles. 5, the High Priestess. Well, well. And card number 6, you have Judgment. Oh, my heavens. You have got 3 major arcana. That is something. And outside of that, you have this really balanced, speaking of balance, reading between Swords, Wands, and Pentacles. Very interesting. So we're going to see how these cards feed in. And as I was just saying, these look crooked to me. So hopefully when I straighten them, it's not going to then be crooked on the cameras. Forgive me if it is. That seems hopefully a bit better. So I'm going to go through them one card at a time, and then allow the story to coalesce. My intuition kicks in once we've gotten through each card's explanation, and sometimes before that, but it tends to all come together at once, and I get into the flow. So we're going to. I apologize. Group number 2. I'm still working on making sure that the phone has enough storage for me to record a long stretch. So we're back. What I was going to say is we'll get started with card number 1. So the Ace of Swords is all about having, a new inspired thought. You can see that idea, you can see that his jacket has all these stars on it. So it's almost like with this key, he's able to tap into the knowledge, like all the knowledge of the universe. It's really about, new ideas, mental clarity. He has the key. 7 of Wands has to do with self-protection. And I find it interesting, he's behind these bars. It almost looks like a circus wagon or something, but behind him is blue sky. So I find that interesting. Like so much of life is kind of illusory. It's like, because we believe things to be one way, we experience them to be that way. But if we changed our perspective, we would change our experience. So anyway, with the 7 of Wands in this particular deck, he's masking in a few different ways. He's protecting himself by wearing a mustache, kind of hides his face a little bit. With all these tattoos, it's kind of masking his body a little bit. And he has the bars in front of him. So he's putting up a boundary between himself and the world. The Strength card, this girl has her hand in the lion's mouth and he completely trusts her. This has to do with trusting your own self. It has to do with self-love and unconditional love and courage. The Two of Pentacles is really a card of balancing. It can be a card of making, between two choices, weighing your options and so forth. Or it can be, about balancing something in your life that feels kind of precarious. The High Priestess is all about intuition and trusting your own intuition. Um, what I find interesting, partly the synchronicity between these two, there are these red curtains, they're in the exact same position. There's blue sky behind each of them. And the High Priestess has this blue shell necklace at her throat, which corresponds with her throat chakra, and kind of points to the need to not only trust your intuition, but to express from it. Okay. And finally, the Judgment card is a clarion call to step into your life's true purpose. So it may be saying, hey, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up and get to work on your purpose. So, group number 2, the what I'm seeing here is that you may have been um, doing something in your life, and I'm I'm feeling vocational energy here, career energy, um, that hasn't been totally fulfilling, perhaps, that isn't built on the firmest of foundations. And the Panther is saying you may need to let some of what isn't really serving your actual plan for this life, you might say. You might need to let some of that fall. And that might seem scary, but and and I think you're trying to balance a lot in your life. You can't just walk away from your responsibilities. And you may be feeling a sense of self-protection, saying, look, exactly that. I can't walk away. But behind all of that is a knowing within yourself that there is this idea, this almost like a download from the universe that has been in your mind, has been tapping you on the shoulder for quite some time. And that is calling you to your life's purpose. You need to trust what you know to be true very deep down inside of you. No matter what it looks like on paper, what you've been up to, no matter how, good it looks in terms of, how well it supports you. Once again, and I have to say, Spirit's been pushing this message through consistently since I started doing the readings here on YouTube. Um, this is the time for all of us who feel called to these messages to step into our authenticity. Remember who you really are. Who are you really? You are this. You are this. You are this. You're being called by this. So your perception that you have to keep balancing this precarious thing is keeping you kind of, I would say, behind bars a bit, honestly. And there's something that you have to offer to the world, to the rest of us who really need it right now. We really need what you have to offer. And so this is going to take a degree of self trust strength, uh, fortitude for you to step into it. I would encourage you to do some journaling, you know, just start writing and see what comes out. See what comes out about what you would do if you didn't have to make money, if you didn't have obligations you had to meet. What would life look like then? When do you feel excited, like what I'm doing right now is so lined up with who I am? That's what you're looking for. That's your clarion call. Wherever that passion is, no matter what your conscious mind thinks of whether or not that is a way that you can make a living, don't worry about that for the moment. Go toward what lights you up inside. That is why I named this channel Soul GPS Tarot. That feeling of excitement and interest and passion is a beacon coming from your own soul. That is your GPS. How do I know where to go? How do I know what to do? Follow that passion. You can keep doing your day job, okay? But start devoting more and more and more of your energy to the thing that really lights you up inside. And ultimately, you want to move toward that thing, toward doing it more and more and more. And if you were here for the last couple of readings, I'm pretty sure that this message came out in both of those readings as well. So you might go and check those out. But it sounds like, I feel like it's going to keep coming through because it's this message that so many of us need to hear. We have this false sense that we are trapped in what we've agreed to do in the past, you know, and that we have to be a certain person in the world in order to be responsible and acceptable and lovable and all those things. But that's not right. What's needed is for us to come into our full selves, understand what our full self is like, and introduce our full self to the whole world. Now, it doesn't mean you have to introduce yourself to the whole world, but if you are out there living totally authentically to who you are, then I'm telling you, there are going to be people around you who've been waiting for that. There are going to be people around you who needed that because it allows them to become more fully themselves as well. And the more and more and more of us who choose to do that, the less and less power this old system that makes us all cogs in the machine will have. We kind of have to stop agreeing to be cogs and say, wait a second, I'm something particular. I was made to be this particular whole person. And what I have to give to the world has value that only I can give. Doesn't mean you're so great and you're better than everybody else. It means you are one of a kind and you're the only one who can be you. And the world needs you to be you, fully yourself. So, group number 2, that's a very clear message. Whatever is not fulfilling you right now probably needs to go ahead and come down. And the society card is interesting. This networking opportunities. I feel like whatever it is, whatever this inspiration or idea that you've been having is, whatever your intuition is leading you toward, um, it's going to pick up speed and grow the more you begin spending time with other people who are doing the thing that you would do if you didn't have to make money. So you need to take advantage of some new social opportunities. You need to seek them out, of people who are doing that. And like I said, you keep on making your paycheck as long as you need to, but you're building the whole time toward spending most of your time and life doing the thing that you really feel passionate about, because that's how you're going to serve the world. Okay, I'm going to draw a final oracle card for you from the little guide deck. Let's do a shuffle on this guy. See if we can get one final message for group number 2. Spirit, what does group number 2 need to know? I feel like this guy came out on purpose. Oh, well, hello, transformation. That seems like a pretty good confirmation of this whole message. Yep, you are being called to transformation. You are being called to transformation, and you are ready. It's time to step out today. Trust yourself, trust your mind, trust that the universe is giving you the idea for a really good reason. Trust your intuition. Don't try to balance so much that you don't even have the, mental energy to pursue this idea. Let a few things go right up front. Okay, group number 2, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't done it already, I would love it if you would click the like button, subscribe if you haven't done it, and leave me a comment. If you would, I would love that so much. I'd love to meet you and to understand where you're coming from and how the reading resonated for you. Group number 2, I hope to see you again very soon. And in the meantime, take care. Bye. Hi, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Earthworm, this is you. And we'll talk about the Earthworm here. The Earthworm is kind of a novice energy. It's feeling like, yeah, you're a beginner at something, and it's not the most comfortable thing to be a beginner at something, but it's oftentimes where we get the the greatest influx of learning, and you have to go through the novice phase in order to become a seasoned expert. So that's kind of the message of the Earthworm. I'm going to put it right over here. And you have a fortune cookie oracle, which says, assert yourself. Go for what you want. The time is ripe for soulmate connections. Birth of a child also likely. Huh. It's so funny. I feel this came out the other day as well. And I mean, there's a lot of cards in that deck and they were shuffled a lot. So I find that interesting. There have been some kind of consistent messages coming through, which makes me feel like, yeah, spirit is like, you know, knows that there's a particular group who's going to hear these messages, and it's going to keep on hammering certain topics until it doesn't need to anymore. So anyway, you chose the Universal Celtic Tarot, and I'm going to go ahead and take these out and shuffle them really well, and then I'll come back on camera and shuffle them some more for you. I just don't want you to have to sit through it. And then we'll start your reading. I will be right back. Okay, group 3, we are back. These are very well shuffled, and I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them some more here and begin to allow the cards that want to come out to do so. There's number 1 and number 2. Okay, these cards are pretty fast. Some of the other ones were a little more reluctant to come out. There's number 3 and 4. Well, this guy is coming out. That's 5 and 6. Okay. Group number 3. Let's see what we have got. Your first card is the Death card. Now, again, for those of you who aren't used to tarot, don't freak out about the Death card at all. It is not a bad thing, and we will talk. Although it does look a little gruesome, but it's not bad. Card number 2, you have the 10 of Cups. Lovely. See, I told you. Card number 3, we have got the 7 of Swords. Card 4, ooh, we have the Fool. This is good. Card number 5, she fell out face up. That's the Queen of Pentacles. And finally, we have got the Knight of Swords. Okay. So as I was saying in the other 2 groups, the way that this works for me is that while I'm pointing out the meanings of these 6 cards, my intuition is kicking in and I'm starting to get a cohesive, full picture of what Spirit is trying to say through this reading. And so that typically comes about the time I am talking about uh, the last card. So we're going to begin with the Death card, which isn't about death. It's about rebirth. It's about things being ready to transform and change, things ending so that new things can begin. It is a necessary part of the life cycle. And if we didn't have it, we wouldn't have rebirth. So it's a positive card with a lot of powerful energy behind it. The 10 of Cups is just the absolute highest abundance of contentment and love and support. It's just everything you could want in terms of love and relationship. The 7 of Swords is often seen as this kind of trickster energy. There is a military encampment back here, these little, here, I'll pick it up. There are little tents in the background behind this dragon. And the dragon is taking the swords so that this army cannot use them against the dragon, let's say. So the 7 of Swords, it can be a tricky energy or a trickster energy, dishonesty, betrayal, theft, that kind of thing. But it can also be a card of strategy, of thinking strategically and making strategic moves. The Fool is just a fresh new beginning. It's where the journey starts over. It's hopeful and adventurous and ready to take chances. He's stepping out on a rainbow, carrying only his little mushroom umbrella and wearing his little flower hat. Um, and his heels are dropping gold dust as he walks over the rainbow. So he's unconcerned about what may lie ahead. He's not afraid that he's going to fall off the rainbow. He's just ready to set out on adventure. The Queen of Pentacles is the feminine energy, which is totally resourceful and can use what she has to make what is needed um, at some of the highest level. She's creative with what she has. And finally, the Knight of Swords it's kind of the fastest knight. Maybe the Knight of Wands is faster than that. But the Knight of Swords is a kind of an action guy. Swords is the element of air and corresponds to ideas, thought, the mind, and so forth. Truth telling, that kind of thing. So the Page of Swords is this kind of youthful energy that comes riding in to deliver that new message, a message of change. And so now we can see that the reading is bracketed by these cards of change. And on the inside, we have these, this is sort of a method card, like how do I get there? These two, I think, have to do with being a bit strategic and then being unafraid to just step out, using what you have and making the most out of it is going to lead you to this 10 of Cups energy. And the fact that you have the Earthworm card says to me that you're being called upon to make a big change. Pile 2 had a somewhat similar message if you want to check that one out. But, and I mean to say group number 2. So there's big change in the air, you might say. There's something that you're already doing where maybe you are considered to be very proficient at it, very good at it, maybe expert at it, but it's supporting an old way of life for you. This Knight of Swords says there's a new way of life coming in. This Death card says there's a rebirth coming. And if you accept it and accept that at the beginning of it, after everything falls down that's not really supporting you, you're going to feel a little bit like the Earthworm for a bit. You're going to be a newbie. You're going to be in that energy, that beginner's mindset, and that can be uncomfortable. But you've done this before, and you know that that leads to mastery. And frankly, it's an adventure. And notice how the Fool is walking on a rainbow and the Earthworm is wrapped around this rainbow. So I feel like, yeah, this spread is really saying to me that you are being asked to embrace a big change. Embrace a big change. You do have ability that you may not have been tapping into, and you own it. You may not have been using all of the gifts that you were given in order to do this, the old life that isn't totally supporting you, not emotionally, not spiritually. It may be supporting you physically, but there are some gifts that you have that aren't totally required for this old life that are really calling to you. They're saying, these are the gifts that need to come out now. Now, the Seven of Swords is, cautioning you to be strategic about the way that you make this change. You can start out right where you are by asserting yourself. Go for what you want. Go for what you want. The time is ripe for soulmate connections. The birth of a child also likely, and that's where the Fool, I think, comes in. Birth of a child in this case, I think, refers to rebirth and starting the next exciting journey. And with the exciting journey comes this beginner energy that, none of us loves. But understand that the payoff is everything you hoped for, ever. So when I say be strategic, I mean, and again, watch group number 2 if you feel called to. Very, very similar message. There's, if what you've been doing hasn't been, is no longer truly supporting you or serving you, and you need to make a big change, it doesn't mean you just like rip the band-aid off and go necessarily. You may need to lay the groundwork. You might start where you are and assert yourself and say, what I've been doing isn't using all of my gifts, and I have a lot more that I could bring to bear in this situation. Speak up for yourself. You might want to take on something new, a slightly different role. On the other hand, you may need to assert yourself right straight out the door and say, there's a whole new venture that I need. But we can't always do that instantaneously. So I think Spirit is saying, start now. Assert yourself, start spending more of your energy toward the the gifts that you want to be using that you've not had the opportunity to use, and build on that. Build until your lifestyle is changing because you are incorporating and utilizing more of the gifts that have been hidden. And when you're spending more of your time and energy on these gifts that you have, you will have set out on the journey without even realizing it. Ultimately, you'll get to the point where you can support yourself by using this new set of gifts in whatever way that comes about, whether it's where you are now or in a new place. But your whole entire lifestyle will be altered by this. And it's leading you to the Ten of Cups. It's leading you to the ultimate in love and gratification and satisfaction and all those things. It's just about feeling wonderful. And that's where you're headed. You just have a couple steps to get through. Okay. So, group number 3, I am going to pull a final oracle card for you from the little guide deck. And just give them a shuffle and see what Spirit wants to say to wrap up your reading. I think this guy. Let's see. What have we got? Patience. Patience. Okay. So that to me says that there is strategy that needs to be. That's not going to work. Never mind. It's a mess. That's the way it's going to be. Um, that's kind of bringing me to the Seven of Swords energy, and the Earthworm energy. Interesting. So I think this is really saying you might want to start out where you are and assert yourself. Speak up. Let the powers that be know that you have more to offer and that you would like to take on a role where you might be a beginner for a while, but you have got gifts that you can bring to this role that are going to make everybody come to this energy of Ten of Cups, right? Um, when it's cautioning patience or counseling patience, um, I'm going to say you could have some patience with those people to whom you are asserting yourself, but not too much patience. You need to hold the line and say, I'm 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 going to use these gifts, whether it's here or somewhere else. So if you can find a place for me to do that and a way for me to do that, that's wonderful. And let's get started. If you cannot, I am going to find my place. And mainly, though, I think the patience is going to be with yourself. I feel like this other stuff is going to be faster acting because of the Knight of Swords. I think this all feels like change that is coming. And I think the patience relates to the earthworm energy, which is, look, when you do start the new stuff, when you do start using the gifts that have sort of been on the back burner for so long, you may feel impatient to become a master at whatever it is. You may feel like, oh my gosh, did I make the wrong decision? Did I make the wrong choice? Should I have kept doing this other thing? No, you need to be able to tolerate the beginner energy for a while, because every single day you are adding to your store of knowledge that's making you an expert in this new thing. Um, so just take a deep breath and stay in the moment. You're on the adventure. Enjoy it. It is leading to a wonderful place. Group number 3, thank you so much for being here. And if you've not done it already, I would love it if you would hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't done that. That way you can be notified of new readings that I upload. And if you would leave a comment below, I would be so delighted. That would be amazing. So, group number 3, I wish you the very best on your new adventure, and I hope to see you soon again. Take care. Bye.